So how are you handling the current crisis? The crisis around coronavirus, the lockdown, and the current racial tension that we find the whole world engaged in. Hi, my name is Joyce, and today I thought I'll do something different. I feel like I couldn't do business as usual, so I thought let's talk about what's going on and my tips on how to navigate and handle the current situation. Stay tuned. So we have this horrible thing that happened in America, which has led to a lot of unrest in the world. And I live in the UK. A lot of my UK friends are going, well, but it happened in America. Why are you so upset? It doesn't affect you. It doesn't happen here. And they don't understand. And I think that has led to a lot of upset in my community because of the lack of understanding that even though these things happened in America, we experience things like this here. And so I would like to maybe highlight three, there's been many and it's been sustained throughout my life, but three racial incidents. And I would kind of take it as the beginning of my life, the middle, and now. So the beginning of my life, I think I was about 4. I started school. I was very excited to go to school. And the first day at school, I was quite happy. But very soon, I found myself surrounded by my peers, my kids my age in my class, and they were all fascinated by me and my hair. And they were pulling at my hair, saying, "Oh, we like your lovely snakes." And I looked at my hair. They pulled it painfully. I cried, went to the teacher. She did comfort me, but then I kept wondering what was wrong with my hair. And then they also complained about my skin being dark and that I look like a monkey. And you would not believe it, at 4 years old, it was the first time ever in my life that I knew I was different. Before then, I don't know how, I didn't notice that I was different from everybody else. And my nanny was a white woman and her children were white, and we were like one. I didn't know there was a difference until I went to school. The first week I was at school, I actually ran home and I spoke to my mom when I got home. I said, "Mom, can you wash me different today? Because apparently I'm more brown than everybody else. And also, while you're at it, can you sort my hair out? Because apparently my hair looks like snakes." I was speaking to an African woman. She brushed it off. It's not a big deal. Comforted me, and I just carried on. And this kind of carried on until I kind of got used to it. It became part of who I was. The second incident I'll pick out is, fast forward now, I'm now in my 30s. I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. I can't always afford, in fact, I can't afford to take my children on an exotic holiday. So normally we will go on maybe the cheaper ones, because I always want my children to go on holiday, summer holiday, so that when they go back to school, they can tell their friends that they've been out, they've done this. I always wanted them to have a story to tell. So we normally would choose something like puntings, bottlings, and sometimes we go on that Sun newspaper holiday, the £9.50 one. And I remember the first year I went on this holiday, I just noticed the establishment was okay. They looked after us. There was no discrimination there. But then I noticed there was a lot of discrimination around the other people there for holiday. One incident sticks out to me. I took my girls to the swimming pool. I normally would choose a quiet time where there's not too many families there, just so that we can have some peace. So this evening we went there. My kids were looking forward to it. I got there were a bit more families than I'm used to, but I thought, well, the kids are looking forward to it. I didn't want to disappoint them, so I stayed. The minute I turned up there was a man that screamed at us, "What the F are you guys doing here? We can't even have our peace. We can't swim in peace." And he was so enraged. He took himself, his family, and left the swimming pool area. Other families also followed him, and then we were left alone. My kids didn't really notice too much of what was going on because I kind of tried to distract them. Then I sat at the edge of the swimming pool and I was shaking. And I remember I was shaking and I was rocking myself back and forth because I just could not understand the level of hatred you could, have towards a person that you do not know just because of the color of their skin. The third one is a bit more recent. It didn't happen in the UK, but it just goes to show you that everywhere we go, we have issues with race. I was in China 2 years ago on a business trip, and I went with a friend of mine. She is white, American white, and she just came there to support me. She didn't really have business there. I was looking for a supplier because I have an online store. And so every time I approach a supplier and ask them about anything, they would just turn away from me and turn to my friend and respond to her. My friend goes, well, thanks for telling me, but I don't need that information. I'm just here to support my friend. Speak to her. They will refuse. That was in China. In fact, the minute I stepped in China from the airport, the hostility was incredible. Then we will go to a restaurant. We will order the same food. Her food will come out looking beautiful like it should. My food will come out looking like the dog's dinner. Sometimes her food will come out with fruits that they've given her, you know, an extra. Mine will never ever come out with that. Or maybe I order coffee, or she orders coffee. She will get her coffee, I wouldn't. And it wasn't in one place, it was consistently till I got out of China. We left China, we went to Hong Kong because she lives in Hong Kong. When I got to Hong Kong, her husband welcomed us, met us and welcomed us. And he went, oh, Joyce, I'm so sorry about all the racism that you have suffered in China. And I went, oh, no, it's okay. You know, I kind of had an idea that I might face racism. So I kind of psyched myself up. I was ready in my mind that I will face racism, and I had to deal with it. And I was determined that I will not be distracted by it. And so they comforted me, they looked after me. I had a great time in Hong Kong. I did not feel any kind of racism in Hong Kong, but in China it was different. But then when I'm alone, I sit down and I think about those incidents. Even though I brush it off and I say it's okay, it really isn't okay. And this is why you will see a situation happen in America, and here in the UK, there's a sudden eruption of anger and there's destruction, which I totally am against. I don't believe we need to be destroying anything because that would dilute the message that we're trying to put across. But the one thing I would say is please, please, please do not say to yourself that there's no racism in the UK. Now, yesterday, there was a report that came out with regards to COVID-19 to say that actually we feel that racism has played a part in the fact that there's been so many Black and Asian people that have died from COVID-19. So there is racism in the UK. The question is, how do you cope with this situation and move forward in life, and do not let it stop you in your track? Because there's a good way to deal with a situation and there is a bad way to deal with a situation. And I want to just share today the way I have coped and what I want to leave with you on this video. So if you just stay tuned, I have 5 things I would like to share with you today. So the first thing I always will do to myself when I find myself in racist incidents is to ponder what was said, and I just have a lot of love for myself. So love yourself and do not take in any negativity from any other person. What a person says to me is not who I am. Oftentimes they're displaying their ignorance. The second thing I would ask that you do is talk about it. Do not say it's nothing, because it is something. Because when we brush things off and when we bury things, it could manifest itself negatively in other areas of our lives. So in fact, I will say that if there's one thing I have learned with this current situation is to talk, because in talking to other people, other friends, I realize that I'm not alone. This is quite common. It's constantly happening, but we don't talk about it. I personally have this issue where I'm always a bit afraid to talk about race, because I don't want people to think I'm playing the race card, which in a way is a systematic way of silencing me to not talk about a real issue. The third thing I would ask that you do is to devote time to developing yourself as a person. It's so important. If you're constantly being attacked and that's all you get in, there's no positive things to counter the negative, it will not end well. It's what we often see where there is demonstration, there are riots, people are burning things, people are looting. It's oftentimes because there's been so much negativity coming in and there's been nothing positive, to balance that out, to channel our energy. Start with, just reading books. a mindset change, because you don't want to have a negative mindset around these things. You don't want to think this is your lot and then feel despondent and feel like, well, there's nothing's going to change, I might as well then do this negative thing. No. Develop yourself. I would put in the link some books that I read. You know, I just read books about people that have overcome issues of race. The fourth thing I would do is support my tribe. This is so close to my heart. I find some people, some black people, where they would tear down their brothers and sisters. There is no race that is perfect. The black race is not perfect by any means. And I'm not saying that everything we do is great and you should always stand behind bad things. Never. Because we will never grow if we see negative things within ourselves and not correct it. Look at your tribe as like a parent would. My child misbehaves, I don't write them off. I will just bring correction in as loving a way as possible, because I want them to do good. Have a love for your own tribe. Uphold your tribe, support your tribe. If there are businesses that, you know, businesses that cater to black needs, support those businesses. Let us all grow together. It can only end well for the whole society if we're all doing well. So there is a song that I love. The last line in that song says, always stay gracious. The best revenge is your paper. At the end of the day, no matter what happens to you, the best way to cope is to make sure you're doing well financially. And please don't let anyone tell you that money is not important. Money is important. And I'll tell you this story here. Kalief Browder, 16 years old, he was accused of stealing somebody's backpack and he was sent to the top prison. His family could not raise $900 for his bail, let alone get a lawyer to help him post bail, which then meant for him he had to endure 3 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He eventually was acquitted of the charges and sent home after 3 years, but by then the damage had been done. After 2 years of being out of prison, he killed himself. And that to me was such a painful story to listen to, because $900, they couldn't raise that. But we want to be in a position where if we need money, we have money in our accounts. If you right now look at your account and you don't have like £1,000, there's one solution I'm going to recommend here. And it's that you watch every one of my videos, every single one of them, because that's what it's all about. Be empowering yourself so that you have enough money to cope with life emergencies and more. Finally, if you've done everything I have talked about in this video, then you will find yourself in a position where you are now able to teach others. If you do all those things, you're able to teach others. You don't need to have a massive amount of knowledge to be an influencer. An influencer, in my opinion, basically means someone that is just ahead of the next person, and you have some positive message that you want to pass on to others. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 10 million. If you can positively influence 10 people, you are an influencer, and that's what we want. So if you've done everything I've talked about earlier, then, and this have worked for you, then it will be a good idea to pass it on, teach somebody else, and also encourage them to teach other people. An influencer is, I had a problem, I did this and my problem was solved, and now I'm sharing with you, just in case you have the same problem, this is how you solve it. Finish. That's what an influencer is. When my great-grandchildren are here, I want the world to be a better place. We need to also be those voices of encouragement, the voice of hope to the people coming after us. Be an encourager. Don't tear people down. Do what you can. Influence positively. I hope this video has been useful. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the video. How have you coped in this season? And also, if you found the video helpful, subscribe to my channel and hit like if you like this video. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. And I also want to say something quickly. Thank you for all that has subscribed to me so far. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I hope that you also will consider creating your own avenues of conversations. And if you need any help, I'm here to help. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.